Hello, and welcome to my 2026 presentation on My Chemical Romance's Long Live the Black Parade tour. I recommend watching the 2025 one if you have not, and this one will cover the Peru date through the second Mexico City date. So let's get into it. Of course, content warning, and now this will follow a similar format to last time. I'm going to go over things that happen at every show, and then I'm going to break down all the differences and all of that excitement. So first, there's the MOAT PPAR, and we're not really sure what PPAR stands for, but it's clear that they're rules of some kind in the MOAT work release program. I did steal these rules slides from the master doc. We have the payphone in the day room is out of order for the 5th year. Family visits are prohibited until further notice. Socks will be available in the commissary in the first week of July. The commissary is closed for the months of June to September inclusive. Supplemental discipline will be brought upon those who floss, brush, and/or clean. Medication will be administered in all circumstances. Additional rounds of ministry-approved therapy will be made available to odd numbers on Tuesdays and even numbers on Thursdays. Those prisoners with odd numbers will remain in solitary confinement for the first half of the month. Prisoners with even numbers will remain in solitary confinement for the last half of the month. There are exceptions based on familial weight status. Those born in August are subject to additional inspection. Flailing of limbs will result in prolonged solitude. This dispatch additionally applies to the gnashing of teeth and rending of uniform. Chimes are not for amusement. Those caught messing about will spend 1 week in whisper confinement. And then there's a strobe warning, actually, that features in English, Kapashka, and in Spanish. But the PPAR I just read to you only features in Kapashka, just so you know. As fans get to the venue, they receive a postcard, whereas last time they got the yay nay sign, and the postcard says Gubrick, province of Lepka, Drag. So now we know that Gubrick is for sure a city in Drag, and I'll show you the other postcards later, but Peru is the first date. Then, as the concert begins, this guy sweeps the floor and the band enters. After that, the band is medicated while this spokesman introduces the anthem on the screen. And what he says, if you listen carefully, references the fact that it's a new day of like therapies, basically, and take your medicine and let's get going.
Hello, my friends, and good morning. It is another beautiful day in Prague. A chance, once more to get things right and push beyond our best. So, raise the sun and take your medication. Here is your session for today. And we will start by observing the Drag National Anthem.
You could see both Frank and Mikey spat out their medication, and the text on screen as the anthem began says, "Rise and shine." Then during the anthem, Frank actually walks under the flag, which is disrespectful in the military. And you'll generally see as the dates go on that the band is just kind of screwing around, trying to deny their instruments and stuff like that during the anthem. Also during the anthem, you can see this paperwork featured on screen. It's all complete gibberish, but it is stamped with the word reconditioning in red. So now that you've seen the band in this new stage setting, I wanted to compare it back to 20 years ago when the Black Parade, initially released. So you can see the outfits they're wearing now more closely resemble the originals than the 2025 outfits did. So I just want to review that quickly. You can see, now it's the silver and black instead of the gold and red on black. And on Gerard's uniform, I noticed that the rope switches shoulders, so there's some mirroring occurring here. Frank's outfits, you can also see these 2026 outfits are kind of weathered and distressed looking. I'm not sure if it's burns, cobwebs, general wear, maybe all of the above. I'm not sure, but clearly these outfits have been through some things for the past 20 years. Mikey, you can see his badge switched sides, just like Gerard's rope. And Ray, back to his original curlicues here. We also have the clerk is back with us. It seems he's a prisoner now, wearing a prisoner uniform complete with an ID number. And you'll see later there's images of the Black Parade members also in prisoner uniforms like this, and on their uniforms the Kapashka letters are their initials, so we now know that the clerk's initials are DS. We also have Sylvia. She returns, and she's referred to by name by Gerard, so we know it's her. So from opera singer to nurse. We also have this secretary character, and it seemed initially maybe this is Marianne. They look very similar, but they are different actresses, and the secretary is never referred to by name, so we're not so sure. Maybe they're different people. Then, of course, Clarice and Kaylee are here again. They're no longer Aux band members. They're now nurses. Same with all the other people on stage. They're all now doctors, nurses, and orderlies. They're no longer Black Parade members. Only the 4 bass band members are. So here's Jared. Same with Tucker and Jamie. And then after the anthem, the band just dives right in and sings the first 3 songs. This text here says behave. And for those entire 3 songs, the secretary just sits in a red chair and watches the band. Just, like Big Brother watching over them. Just like this giant eyeball hovering above the stage, just watching them carefully. Then finally, Gerard greets the audience.
Good to be here. It's nice to hear from you.
Commercial Shiraz, Emote System Manager Pro Hive, Diesel Phantom Starter, Diesel China, Proforschung mit.
Good evening. It's nice to be here.
The eyeball says present for ID, so clearly it took their ID photo. But this structure of Gerard saying something that doesn't really make sense, then taking the ID photo, and then saying something a little bit more collected, that theme continues throughout. And then here is their picture that they took. They pose a little bit differently every time. Then they go on and sing The Sharpest Lives. And the spokesman comes back. His features on the screen seem to be reconditioning materials, that are brainwashing the band. So let's see what he has to say.
The humorous thing about learning to be what you hate and learning to do what you fear is that someone you've been your whole life doing something you've always been good at could feel so entirely new. That brutality, so second nature, could feel so alien, so foreign to you. It's astounding to witness firsthand. So let's remind you, for a moment, exactly what you are. And the thing that you do best. The lesson is, a man knows how to forgive, but a leader knows how to instruct. And since, through pain, we learn. Let's be a student, then be a teacher. Now, take your place. Use your words and produce what you heard and display.
So you could see at the end there, the guards forcefully shove Gerard up onto the podium, and then the clerk kind of encouragingly teaches him to raise his fist to this song. So it's like they're teaching him to perform. This happens at every concert date. Then, of course, they sing Welcome to the Black Parade. And during the song, you can see Gerard kind of thinking about what the clerk just taught him and finally doing it himself. After that, we go into a kind of musical transition between songs where they actually use the electrocution music, but there is no electrocution. They just maintain that audio track. Then they sing I Don't Love You, and at the first date in Peru, Gerard laughs after throwing something. During the I Don't Love You song, Gerard appears more personable with his bandmates and more rebellious against the secretary. During the song, he comes up to Frank and Mikey each and kind of rests his hand on their shoulder while singing. And even when he's over here with Frank, he turns to the secretary and gives her a dirty look. And here's another moment from the song. Then they sing House of Wolves. So, of course, there is the howling, but we also have the secretary crossing sides from Frank's to Ray's side, and Gerard appeared to be throwing hair, which was against the rules last year. Then the eyeball descends again, and the screen reads in Kapashka, "In recognition of your progress, here is a gift."
Notice the smell after a few days. Sadly, there's nothing I can do for you. All my love, Dad.
So finally, we see how Gerard met the gentleman in jail, as he said last year. There's been, a few signs, I mean, A, that they're in the MOAT, but B, that this is a prequel, and Gerard receiving the gentleman is definitely, like, a number one piece of evidence so far that this is a prequel. So again, here's the postcard that the clerk just received, and the voiceover that just played says exactly what's on the postcard. So it seems like the clerk is in contact with his father, and maybe he's hoping that they'll help him escape, but they can't help him. I also wanted to point out at some point the eyeball says MOAT complementary reconditioning. So I mean, just further support to clarify what's going on here. Then they sing Cancer, and there is no laugh track as there was last year. And during the song, Gerard approaches Mikey with the gentleman and asks him to pet him. Then they sing Mama, of course, and here's that transition. Exciting. So, I mean, last time Mama was kind of in a few chunks. There's definitely a predictable structure in it again this year, where first Gerard sings like the first main part of the song, and then before he gets into that new dagger verse that was introduced last year, he tells the audience some jokes.
How are you good people here tonight? On the way from the Catskills, I see. It's been a long flight for me. I need a drink. You guys are a lively bunch. Oh, you laughing already? That's so fine. Is it my suit? I know, it's a mess. My suit's a mess. That's what happens when your manager books your plane ticket in the car it's home. That's what fucking happens, you know what I mean? So anyway, me and the fucking boys. Hold on, I need a drink. Tell this story. So anyway, me and the boys wanted to start out tonight with not jokes, just a song, you know what I mean? And it's a real special song. I learned this one from a friend a long time ago. And I met him, and the first time, he says to me, I like your shoes. And I said, you don't got any fucking shoes at all! Jokes. But he leans over to me and whispers in my ear, this is what he says. He goes, I've got a secret. And I've a...
So, I mean, a lot of information to unpack here, and I'm excited that Gerard maintains the narrative of the gentleman teaching him the dagger song. But the one thing I want to point out, he mentioned a place called the Catskills, and, he refers to it like he's currently there and performing. I guess the Catskills was an actual real place. It's not really a thing anymore, but it was kind of a vacation spot. Several decades ago. So interesting. Then, of course, he goes on and sings the dagger song, and during it, he and the clerk jump excitedly. Then Sylvia enters the stage, and Gerard introduces her as his magician's assistant.
She is. This is the part of the show where we do magic. And we're gonna do a magic trick. Alright, this brave young lady right here from Lapeer, Michigan, a very far off land, is our assistant for all things magical spells. And she is gonna let us make her disappear. We're gonna need your help. It's just a little 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you're ready, I think we can try it. Well, by the powers vested in me, by his arcane majesty, the Great Gazoo, I said 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So, he says that he's going to make her disappear. She does not disappear, but he consistently makes this claim throughout most of the concert dates. You also notice he said that she was from Lapeer, Michigan. At other dates, he'll say that she's from other locations. So, you'll see that later. During the Mama song, there's quite a lot of visuals on screen, and they include the Killjoys from the Danger Days music videos. They're just, treated to match the vibe here, but it seems the Killjoys do in fact exist. I mean, there's been so many other Danger Days tie-ins last year, but very exciting. Then, after the Mama duet is over, the word Phantom flashes on screen. And this is exciting because this image was posted to MCR's Instagram just a couple of days before this concert in Peru. So something is going on with Phantom, and there will be more on that later, but let's just take a look at this. So I don't know why there was the gunshot noise. I don't think that really happens much more later, but during this segment with Phantom flashing, Gerard will be weird during this part at future concert dates. Afterwards, then the kind of musical interlude into the song Sleep starts playing. Last year, this is the part where Gerard would be reading a book. This year, he plays some children's playground games with the clerk. So clearly the two of them are buddies.
And the child, we hand the chalk and say, let me see. So we see them. We say, let me see who loves you. And the chalk, it moves in circles. Many circles, great big circles. Hugging arms and smiling eyes. And we tell the child, let's subtract. And again. And what if we subtract them all? Who is left to love you? There is only the hands that wipe the chalkboard clean.
So, I mean, clearly this game of tic-tac-toe makes no sense. Gerard won with a right angle. I did see people online looking up, there's some other version of tic-tac-toe. I'm just presenting to you what I saw. Then the spokesman comes back and talks a little bit more. This is definitely one of the most brainwashing quotes throughout this.
All this time you're making drawings someone else must now erase. But I'm glad that we are friends, and that now you understand. This is the worst day of your life, but the first day of yourself.
All right. Then, of course, they go into the song Sleep. And just like last year, there's really intense red-blue lights flashing. So I'm not going to show that, but I will tell you about some important visuals that occur throughout this song. So here's one little interlude from the flashing. There's like this TV static grayscale going on here. And then the flashing is so intense that still images of it come out purple. So, um, here's one part chock full with information. We can see the secondary clerk, Ray, Mikey, and his grand immortal dictator all being brainwashed. There's also this woman. We'll get a better look at her later, but I am honestly not sure who this is. I don't know if this is the secretary or Sylvia or who this woman is, but she appears to be a drag official. Here's more of these visuals. You can see, like tapes playing, an ear. I mean, clearly this is all about, like reconditioning, brainwashing. So here's one part that's safe to watch. And then, of course, the intense flashing. So during that flashing, you can see each of the band members being reconditioned. And here you can see we have their initials on their outfits, and we have 2 odd numbers, 2 even numbers. Here's another look at the clerk in his prison uniform here. There's also the word failure alert throughout all of these visuals. And here, again, when the band is more large scale on the screen being reconditioned with the bright blue and the red. They're clearly going through it, and I think all of these images are hilarious, by the way. But so there's some more like quick flashing. They're just throwing a bunch of things at you. You definitely feel like you're being reconditioned when you're watching this. But here you can see the clerk is receiving brain surgery, and it appears larger later on as well. So, wow. Then we get into the song Teenagers after all of that. And you'll recall last time during Teenagers, there was footage from the game show Quizzo. This time we have a kind of Mr. Rogers style show called Gentleman Castle. And this actor appears to be a human version of the gentleman, complete with the white face paint. So let's take a look at a little bit of those visuals. So we have all of these little puppet characters. There's also this great big white castle. It looks like a lot of the objects here are made of paper, which brought a lot of fans to think of Paper Kingdom, which is an unreleased MCR album. Not sure if that was just a cute little Easter egg or what, but did notice that. So after the visuals you just saw, there's also train time. They count to 3 in wheat and say strong after you've counted your 3 bundles of wheat. Then one of the puppets hands Human Gentleman this recorder, and when he plays it, this big eyeball comes over, and there's like flames behind him, and all of the other puppets get really scared. Later it says behave. And then Human Gentleman is seen whispering to this Black Knight, who then duels to the death with the Gold Knight, and the Gold Knight is killed. So, I mean, the human gentleman is scheming and setting two characters against each other. There's also the word treachery, of course. Then after the show is over and the song is concluding, it says brought to you by, and we have the Drog logo, and these three logos all seem to be related to the MOAT, with this one literally saying MOAT in Kapashka. Here's another logo. Here are some connections that someone online drew with all of this eyeball imagery and the star in the eye. Interesting. I also want to point out, so after the brought to you by, then these quote unquote credits scroll by really fast. And people were able to decode it. Here's just an excerpt of what was decoded. But the whole the subject matter of it was literally just a chapter from The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. And in this story, Dantes and Feria are imprisoned, and Feria then dies while they're in prison. And Feria is set up to be, buried at sea, basically, in a big sack. And so Dantes takes his place in the burial sack and is thrown out to sea, and he's then able to swim away and escape by taking this dead guy's place. So interesting, a conspiracy to escape prison. Then after teenager, spokesman comes back and talks to us some more.
Control, my friend. I see. But no, we've never met. They gave to me a picture, and I've had it quite some time. In fact, before you said a word, I've always heard your voice. Have you heard mine? That next is mine. There is one less seat, and one more ticket. It's hiding in your coat. Yes, you're here. So take your seat, get comfy. Here is my hand.
Well, I was there.
Then the band sings Disenchanted. We also see MOAT now in English on the eye. And then the actor who played Human Gentleman appears on screen without the white face paint and delivers a pretty bone-chilling line.
A figure sits in a chair made of wood, and it's sobbing. You think it's you. You're pretty sure it's you. But it's weak. It's broken. And it's covered in gasoline. Now, picture yourself.
Oh my gosh, that is so fierce. So it's interesting. I just want to talk a little bit about it, So this guy that played the gentleman is talking about a figure sitting on a chair made of wood, just like the gentleman puppet did in one of the promo images. And he's talking about, it's covered in gasoline and it's weak. He's talking about burning it down. And it seems to all tie into, all of this reconditioning. You're burning down your former self and you're being forcibly reconstructed into something new. Then, of course, as you saw, they sing Famous Last Words, and Gerard has this fierce moment with the flare at the beginning. Towards the end of the song, this is a, different this year from last year. They throw in some lyrics from Welcome to the Black Parade towards the end of the song. And then at the very, very end of the song, all the lyrics are done. Frank places his guitar on the ground and is manipulating the bar to distort the noise. And as he does that, he starts to kind of slump and collapse onto the ground. And when that happens, the guards come in and take him away. They do this at every concert date, and Mikey is also taken away, so that now we just have Gerard and Ray on stage, and the nurse comes in and sends them away. So during this reprise at the end, there's this kind of sadder version of the instrumentals, while it seems he's looking on at footage of his life on the eyeball, and he's playing with a toy bear wearing a clown costume that very closely resembles the clown costume he wore last year. There's also these hooded figures on stage. They're on stage for quite a bit of the concert, and they're an especially spooky presence during this moment. Then, of course, the pre-recorded track Blood begins to play, and Gerard stabs the clerk. And, well, not only does he repeatedly stab the clerk, but he does disembowel him. So for the entire gory performance of Blood, the human gentleman is on the screen behind them, and suddenly it feels the roles have reversed, and now Gerard and the clerk are the puppets, and the human gentleman is some kind of evil mastermind behind it. I mean, I can't help but think of him whispering to the puppets during Teenagers and setting them against each other. Here's some more photos from that. I mean, you can see Gerard's having quite a bit of fun disemboweling his buddy that he's been playing with throughout this entire concert. There's also toy trains on the pillow. Here's another image of the creepy perpetrator looking on at the two of them. So that's how the typical concert goes. I mean, that's exactly how the Peru date went. Now, let's get into show differences. I'm going to go through the first several shows, but I'm going to save the 2 Mexico dates for last, which come after the Colombia date. So first of all, the postcards, as promised, they all say the same thing on them, but they all have different images on them. And I've seen people online have reverse image searched them, and they are real places in the world, or at least like real pre-existing illustrations, as this one was. And they're just from various places all over the world. Here in Brazil 1, the majority of the audience received this one of the building, but for some reason, the uppermost level got this river, which was then what everyone received in Brazil 2. And then here's the Colombia one. This one is photoshopped in the original image. It's just this base building. Then, of course, here's the band being medicated at Chile 1.
And good morning. It is another beautiful day and drag. A chance once more to get things right and push beyond our best. So, grease the sun and take your medication. Here is your session for today. And we will start by...
Looks like they all took it this time, whether they liked it or not. Here's Chile 2. At this date, they all took it as well, but as you just saw, Gerard toasts to the anthem as he takes his medication. Here's Argentina.
Once more to get things right and push beyond.
So Frank eats his entire pill cup. So it gets to be kind of like when they clocked in last year, then Frank has some kind of crazy antic every time. Here's Brazil 1.
It is another beautiful day and drag. A chance once more to get things right and push beyond our best. So, grease the sun and take a medication.
That's pretty funny with the pill cup on the clerk's head. Then here's Brazil 2.
It is another beautiful day and drag. A chance once more to get things right and push beyond our best. So, grease the sun and take a medication. Here is your session for today, and we will start by observing the drag.
So, I mean, wow, I need to linger on that for a moment. So Frank kissed the clerk. Everyone was shocked, especially Sylvia. Here's more pictures of it. I mean, dude. And then it looks like Gerard caught a bug in his hands as he got into the pill line. So his hands were unavailable, and Sylvia had to administer the medication for him. Okay, so now Colombia.
It is another beautiful day and drag. A chance once more to get things right and push beyond our best. So, grease the sun and take a medication. Here is your session for today, and we will start by observing the drag national anthem.
Lol. So Frank teased the clerk and pretended like he was going to kiss him again. And the clerk seemed to want it to happen, but then Frank just picked an eyelash out of his eye, just like in the I'm Not Okay music video. And then, I mean, Mikey just hoarded up on a bunch of medication, and Gerard has a skull with him. All right, then the anthem. Here's a really good view in Chile 1 of the scar on Sylvia's cheek. And in Chile 1, Gerard is now bruised this time. It seemed like at the first date he was unscathed, but now he's bruised. And then also in Chile 1, here's just some antics again. You see Frank go under the flag to be disrespectful again, and Gerard is just totally screwing around. Then Chile 2, here's a really good view. Now Gerard has 2 scratches down his cheek. So you'll recall last year, he had 3 scratches down his cheek at the majority of the dates. Now he's got 2 scratches. Here it is again in Argentina. Also in Argentina, here's some interesting moments. You could see they reached up and touched each other at the same time. It was really weird. So you can see Frank resisting his guitar while Gerard just dawdled around. Here's some more Gerard weirdness.
You'll see my pretty girl. There's a place for us, my pretty girl.
And all that laughing is like pre-recorded. It's part of the concert. It's super weird. Then here's a great view of Brazil 1 where Frank placed the pill cup on Clerk's head and 2 scratches down Gerard's cheek again. Brazil 2, scratches again. Also Brazil 2, Frank just carelessly swinging his guitar around. Then we get into the song Dead. Chile 1, Gerard says, I want to go home. In Chile 2, Gerard is giggling after Dead. And says to look at the stars.
Look at the sun. Look at the sun.
Brazil 1, Gerard mumbles after Dead, so I mean all kinds of cryptic messaging.
A world I'm not in.
Can you imagine being at this concert and not knowing that they're acting? Like, that's crazy. Then, of course, present for ID. So, like I said, Gerard delivers 2 different lines before and after the ID photo is taken.
Good nice evening to be here.
You could see the secretary delivered his notes to him this time. At the first date, it was the clerk, but here on out, now it's the secretary. You could see he looked at it like, what the heck did I just read?
Good evening, it's nice to be here.
And here, kind of verging towards the aggressive. Then Chile 2.
Good applesauce, it's nice to greet you. Good to be here, it's nice to applesauce.
Komorka Waluczki Mac i MOAT System Manager Proc Hive. Dissolved Phantom Startera. Exhaust Kidnap Komfortko It. Pokracz Komorka. Draw.
Good evening.
Mysterious. Here's the photo from Chile 2. And now for Argentina.
Hello. It's nice to be here. Good greeting. It's nice to be here.
You can see as they're preparing for their picture, Frank is clutching the clerk's face. And here's the results of that photo. Then Brazil 1.
Yes, I'll have some more. Yes, Good morning. It's nice to be here. Good morning. It's nice to be here.
It looks like Frank might be picking his nose while throwing up a peace sign. Then Brazil 2.
Good news, America! There's a sale on lawnmowers. Lawnmowers.
Komorka Waluczki Mac i MOAT System Manager Proc Hive. Dissolved Phantom Startera. exhaustiva conforto et
Good news, America. The Black Parade is back in action.
Now this one is pretty exciting because good news, America, the Black Parade is back in action. It was a frequent catchphrase of Gerard's throughout the 2025 tour. And then in Colombia,
Bonjour, we are the Black Parade. Ohio gozaimasu. We are the Black Parade.
so I don't know if that was German or what, but he spoke another language just as he did the initial time and then said, "We are the Black Parade." And then you notice in the picture, he's holding a paper in his mouth. Here's that paper. It was thrown into the audience and it says, "Help us." Then, of course, the Welcome to the Black Parade, raise your fist moment. Here's a good look at that.
But a leader knows how to instruct.
Shoved to the podium.
And since, through pain, we learn. Let's be a student, then be a teacher. Now, take your place.
In Chile 2, we see the secretary reading a newspaper. We'll see a lot more of this newspaper later. But before I Don't Love You in Argentina, Gerard finds a yay nay sign in his podium and lifts it up and inspects it. I couldn't find him looking at it again at any other dates, but this was certainly very exciting to me and more support that this is a prequel. Then, of course, the secretary moves from Frank's side to Ray's side during House of Wolves. Here's that moment. Very deliberate. I don't know, just asserting dominance. And then the gentleman as the gift. You see the clerk kind of reached for it, and Gerard's like, "No, but here's your postcard." Then in Chile 2, here's Gerard barking. Small dog energy. Then Argentina. You see Gerard spinning around while the secretary reads. And then, of course, Gerard laughs. Very SpongeBob-like and crazed. Get out of here. Then in Argentina during Cancer, Gerard again approaches Mikey with the gentleman and has him pet him. And here's a funny moment with the eyeball. So you can see the two of them slapped at the top of it like middle school boys in the hallway. Then during I Don't Love You in Brazil 1, we actually see the clerk serving the secretary some tea while she reads her newspaper. And here she appears to be giving him some tickets of some kind. He's very grateful. And she shoos him away. Also, Brazil 1, we see Gerard putting his leg up on the podium during I Don't Love You. This is a frequent occurrence. Then House of Wolves, Brazil 1, Gerard has this to say. I'll have everything on the menu. And then he quickly passes by the secretary and does bunny ears. Then Brazil 2, we see the secretary reading a newspaper again, and we can see it says drug news. And this newspaper actually calls attention to the Count of Monte Cristo again. It says it there. Then Brazil 2, you'll recall that Frank kissed the clerk here. The clerk seems to reciprocate the feelings because he gifts Frank a carnation. So Frank tucks it away in his jacket initially, but he does wear it on his ear not much later. Here's a funny meme about that. Then we have Mikey. So he just drank the water from the flower vase. And here we see the clerk receive tickets again. Also in Brazil 2, we can see the secretary reading the newspaper super clearly. We see the Count of Monte Cristo there. Very dramatic. The camera is calling attention to it. Then in Colombia, the secretary sniffs the carnation. And gives the clerk some tickets again. Also in Colombia, you can see that newspaper once again. It seems to be the same one. Then the gift for progress. Here's Brazil 1. The clerk and Gerard are pretty playful.
Hello, Frank.
And the clerk seemed really excited initially to receive a postcard, and then when he realized his dad isn't going to help him, he gets upset and crumples it as usual. Here's Brazil 2. The clerk actually snaps up the gentleman before Gerard can get him.
El reconozco cuya progresa y es allí.
Then Cancer during Brazil 2. Gerard's just like dangling the gentleman by the wrist, even though he wanted it so badly, he fought for it. And then in Colombia, Gerard has something in his mouth. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's the game tickets that Clark has been receiving, or a kazoo, or what that is. Then the joke's going into Mama. Here's Chili 1.
He says, man, I sure like your shoes. And I said, man, you don't even got any. Because you can't have mine, you know what I mean? I need them. When you leave,
The clerk found that really funny this time. It's them jumping together. And the moment with Sylvia, the magic trick.
To do a little magic. We're magicians too, not just jokesters. So Sylvia here from Lapeer, Michigan, a very far-off land, has agreed to help us in a great disappearing act. So we'll use all our magic powers together to count it off, an explosion to make her disappear.
So you'll recall in Peru, he said that she's from Lapeer, Michigan. He says so again here. Also, Chili 1, here's some visuals. You can see Better Living Industries logo here. Now, Chili 2, his reason for his suit being in poor condition has changed.
It's my suit, isn't it? It's all crumbly, right? It's filthy and crumbly and smelly, right? Well, that's what happens when you're rolling around garbage like you, Mr. Lemon!
Then he actually asked the clerk how he is, and you may have noticed the clerk is rarely verbal, so this was exciting.
Hey, young man, how you doing tonight? Very good. That's excellent to hear.
Then Gerard goes on to explain that the gentleman robbed banks, and that's why he's in prison.
So anyway, I got this friend. He likes to rob banks. He ended up in jail, which is where I met him anyway.
And then another funny moment about the gentleman. Oops.
But he says, shut the fuck up. And
Then Chili 2, Gerard says that Sylvia is from Coca-Cola, Texas.
he helps us out with our act every night. She comes from the way far off land of Coca-Cola, Texas. Please.
Then in Argentina, the gentleman complimented Gerard's pants rather than his shoes, as he did previously.
And he said, hey, I really liked your pants. And I said, I like yours too. Feels good on you.
Then Sylvia has no location stated, but as Phantom flashes on the screen, Gerard gets really strange.
You can have that back, doctor.
And during that part, as you saw, he returns the dagger to Sylvia. Here he hugs Mikey. Then Brazil 1, he again talks about being in garbage.
The boys and I have been away for a while, I know. Haven't been to the Catskills in maybe 10 or 12 years. Maybe it had something to do with the law, not sure. But anyway, you guys are, I'm not that funny, you guys are laughing already, you know? know? It's my suit, it's messed up. We got messed up suits, you know? Because we were in a fucking garbage can. You know what it's like in the garbage can? These are just jokes, people.
These are just jokes, people.
A friend I met a long time ago taught me this song. We met in jail. He was the toughest guy there. No shoes at all. And he says, I like yours. I said, well, you can't have them. And he said, I don't want them. If I wanted shoes, I would fucking take them. Right?
Also in Brazil 1, Gerard dances with the clerk a little bit. And then he says that Sylvia's from Michigan.
All the way from Lampere, Michigan. But you wouldn't know it. So, we're gonna cast a spell, and we're gonna make Sylvia disappear. All you people like to cast a spell with us.
So she seems very excited about the spell. She's kind of playing into his delusion. And then here's the phantom part.
You can have it back. I don't want it anymore.
Then during Brazil 2, here's what he says about the gentleman.
Hello! How y'all doing tonight? You know, it's really good to be here. Usually, we're on the run from the mob, gambling debts. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, right? That's not a joke, but we got lots of jokes for you, right? What's funny right now? Well, I don't know. Is it my suit? Is it my three-piece suit? Is that funny? I know it's a mess. We're all a mess up here. But that's okay. Because at least we're good looking, right? Alright. No more jokes. No more jokes. We play songs too, as you people know, here in the Catskills. No, we do. We play songs. And this is a song I learned from a friend from a long time ago. Small little guy, maybe this high. We met in jail. And he said, hey, I got something for you. And I said, what? He goes, you trade me that pack of cigarettes, and I'll teach you a song. Being the kind of guy I am, and I like to share and all that, I said, here, you have these cigarettes. He started blazing like a motherfucker. Just smoking too many cigarettes. As he coughed through the smoke, he leaned in close and he said to me, I've got a secret. I've got a song. Slim as a sliver. Not very long.
Then he says Sylvia's from Coca-Cola, Texas.
Comes all the way from Coca-Cola, Texas.
And then the phantom sequence.
I'm done now. You can have that back, sucker. Yeah! Yeah!
I mean, good lord, man. Then Colombia, he made a new friend with this skull.
Lots of good gambling, lots of good dancing, lots of good seafood. You get to a buffet. I hear it's okay on Wednesdays and maybe Fridays. I'm joking. It's just jokes. It's just jokes. So anyway, I gotta introduce you to a new friend of ours. He decided to come out on the road with us. His name is Heinrich. Well, for some reason, he taught me the same song that my other friend taught me, and I don't know why. But he taught it to us like it was brand new. But he did also say he liked my shoes. Isn't that right, Heinrich? Do you like him? Do you want him? said, I've got a secret.
So interesting. Heinrich told Gerard the same story that the gentleman did. Then in Colombia, he slow dances with the clerk. You might recall he kind of danced with the flaming man at the first date. Then most of the time he just kind of dances with his dagger alone, but here he's slow dancing with the clerk. And then says Sylvia's from Coca-Cola, Washington.
All the way from Coca-Cola, Washington.
And then Phantom sequence.
Yes! Yes! The answer is yes. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks. I understand. Yeah.
It's very strange. Then the body tracing. So it generally goes the same. I'll show you the differences, but here in Chile 1, clerk is X and Gerard is O again, but here Gerard lays on top of the body outline for the first time, and he's facing the wrong direction. Then in Chile 2, they both play X's, and Gerard wins in a straight row here, and he then lays on top of it in the correct direction. Here's the clerk bringing the chalk in. You'll see he does a lot of fun physical acting with his little cloth. Then in Argentina, he brings the 2 pieces of chalk in, and they play with them like lightsabers.
There is a planet, so it spins, and it's moving so fast.
And then Gerard does flying arms.
But I'm glad that we are friends, and that now you understand. This is the worst day of your life.
But you'll see here, clerk was X and Gerard was O again, but Gerard's final move was an X for some reason, and then the 2 of them just tied, and Gerard did not lay it on it this time. Then in Brazil 1, they both play X's and they both win, and then Gerard lays on top of it in this hangman pose. But here's the clerk delivering the chalk.
Cerveja, água, cerveja.
There is a planet, so it spins, and it's moving so fast. It's not moving at all.
And then here's the 2 of them hugging after they tie. They're friends. Then after Gerard laid on top of it in the hangman pose, you can see the chalk transferred onto his back and left these X's. You can see it again while he's singing Sleep. Then in Brazil 2, the resolution on this is very poor, but they both played X's and Gerard won, and he did the hangman pose again. And here's clerk delivering the chalk like a butler. Cute. Here's a really nice picture from Sleep in Brazil 2. And then in Colombia, the 2 of them both just played completely random symbols. We've got like a heart and a smiley face and stuff, and Gerard does not lay on top of it.
There is a planet, so it spins, and it's moving so fast.
they shook hands and then saluted. Then the teenager sequence, you can see the brought to you by again. And here Frank is wielding his guitar like a gun. Then Disenchanted, only at Chili 1, Gerard put on his jacket while singing Disenchanted. And you can also notice this is one of the dates where he laid face down on the outline, and he won with the O's in a right angle, and it actually created what looks like a clock stamp on his shirt. Interesting. And here's some funny holding hands in the wheat, just from during the song in general. I think it's funny. Then during Famous Last Words in Chili 2, Ray just absolutely shredding on the guitar during Famous Last Words and leaning on Gerard. And I think moments like this are important to include because during the 2025 tour, it felt like the band members didn't know each other, like the brainwashing was successful and they're all just kind of zombies of the drug government serving the dictator or whoever's really in power because, we saw the dictator being reconditioned, so it seems like he's a puppet. But anyways, during this tour, this prequel tour, we see the band interacting with each other. They're all clearly friends. They have camaraderie. The vibe is very different. You can see those crazy flames again. And then in Brazil 1, just before Gerard begins the Welcome to the Black Parade lyrics, he calls out Father. He says, "I've been waiting, Father." This seems to, be leading into when I was a young boy, my father brought me into the city. He does a similar thing again in Colombia. This time it's Father Come Home. And then the blood sequence in Chili 1, the secretary hands Gerard the knife. The first time Gerard just came in already having the knife. This time, it starts to feel like the secretary is orchestrating some things around here. So there's that pass off, and then of course he stabs the clerk. You can see him, being horribly disemboweled and all of that. Then in Chili 2, Gerard walks in wearing a doctor's coat and even takes the clerk's temperature with his palm. Then, secretary gives him the knife and it goes as it has been. Then in Argentina, wearing the doctor coat again, and again the same fate. See, he's choking the clerk with the intestines. Then in Brazil 1, while the clerk is watching the footage on the eyeball, the secretary is watching on and making sure he does as she wishes, and she actually threatens his teddy bear to get him to comply. And then when Gerard enters, he comforts the clerk as he sleeps. The clerk falls asleep while watching the eyeball and then is awoken by Gerard's entry. But here is Gerard. He makes the bear dance to distract the clerk before beginning the stabbing. Then in Brazil 2, Gerard is wearing his marching band coat. Previously, it's only been the t-shirt or the doctor coat. Now it's Black Parade coat. And after he chokes the clerk with the intestines, the clerk fights back and chokes Gerard, and they both collapse as they do at every date. Then here's Colombia. He's got the doctor coat once more. Secretary passes off the knife. Then we can move on to Mexico 1. So this is the second to last show of the Latin American leg. Here is the postcard. You know, it's a nuclear facility of some kind. Then Frank invites the clerk to take their medication together.
Hello, my friends, and good morning. It is another beautiful day and drive. A chance once more to get things right and push beyond our best. So, raise your hand and take your courage.
Mikey hoards the medication again, and then Gerard has his skull. Then actually the dictator features on screen, watching mysteriously during the anthem. It's very brief. Then Mikey actually removes some of his extra pills from his mouth and gives them to Frank.
Drug national anthem.
Then the ID photo sequence. Here's the greeting.
Hello. It's being nice and greetings.
And then after that,
It loves you, and all of the love loves you. Hello, big world, we are the Black.
hello, big world, we are the Black Parade. Then during the next song, Gerard has a moment with Ray. And then during I Don't Love You, Frank actually eats the clerk's carnation. Then you can see the secretary reading her newspaper as always. Here you can see Gerard's scratches really well. And here he receives the gentleman and poses him like the hangman. And the clerk gives him a carnation that he wears in his waistband for the rest of the night. Here is the greeting going into Mama.
You're looking quite the way I say myself, friends. What's funny? Is it my face? Is it your face? Is it all our faces? Beautiful faces, beautiful people. If you get something to eat, get the spaghetti, but don't forget the meatballs. You know what I mean? So anyway, we've been talking for quite a while. We like to do some songs sometimes. It's very elegant to see. Sometimes we play them in France and bonjour. We like to do this, you see. Many friends have come to me and taught me this.
So you can see at this date, Gerard is talking in that weird drog accent again. And then here's that magic trick with Sylvia. Of course, a little slow dancing.
magics. You know what I say, hey? I say Geld is hello. Everyone say Geld. Geld. They don't know this. So anyway, there's a brand young woman here named Sylvia. Is our assistant, and she's going to allow us to make y'all disappear. You guys want to help us with that? I think they do. So, good people of Gilbert, are you ready? And on 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
The people of Guberk, are you ready? Sylvia's from the province of Lepka, which we know is in Drog. And then the Phantom sequence.
There's Sylvia. It's very clear now what we have to do. So very clear.
Oh, what is it clear that they need to do? Then the sleep sequence, the guys play the letters SOS in their game, and it seems nobody wins. But Gerard does some snow angels on top of it.
And I feel all this time you're making drawings, someone else must now erase.
Then, as the song Sleep concludes, a robot voice says pigs have apples, not tomatoes, on Mars, which happens to spell out the word phantom. Then, of course, the blood sequence. Gerard is wearing a doctor coat and that gas mask. You see, Clerk was hoping to play with the teddy bear, but Gerard just got right on into it. And so concludes Mexico 1. Then we get on into Mexico 2. So in Mexico 2, we have this postcard here at the beach, again in Gubrick. And then during the medication time, the Way brothers toast each other.
Hello, my friends, and good morning. It is another beautiful day and Drag. A chance once more to get things right and push beyond our best. So, read the sun and take a meditation. Here is your session for today. And we will start by...
After medication time, of course, the anthem plays, and we can see the dictator feature again on the screens. And then Gerard greets the audience.
Good news. We're the Black Parade.
Then here's during Welcome to the Black Parade.
But a leader knows how to be strong.
You can see the guards didn't have to shove him violently up on the podium anymore. He just peacefully glides up onto there. And then during I Don't Love You, Frank says not to eat the carnation. I guess he's learned. And again, the clerk receives some tickets. Here you can see what the secretary's been reading. It seems to be the same newspaper again, although this is the first time I'm noticing this image of the clerk as the clown on the newspaper. So no idea what's going on at this point with the space-time continuum. And then here is when Gerard receives the gentleman as a gift.
Hello from Google. It's really not that bad here.
So the clerk gives him a bunch of game tickets and he wears them around his neck like a scarf, or rather like the clerk's intestines. Very strange. And then here you can see the scars on his cheek very faintly, and he has this perpendicular scar running through both of them. Then when he's singing the next song, he's just dangling the gentleman by the ankles, and the secretary points at him. Then here is the mama sequence.
We're gonna wait for a while, but we're back. Spent a long time in the MOAT. Sometimes only porridge, sometimes only gray water. But we're back in action now. You know I can say to you all here tonight, guilt. This is hello, and the road is guilt. You know, you heard so many songs down in that cold, sunless fucking prison. And here's one we love to sing late at night. I've got a secret.
Then when he brings Sylvia on stage, there's no more disappearing act. Here's what they do instead.
Oh my God, that was so much fun. Oh my God, that was so much fun. We're gonna have more fun. We're gonna have a lot more fun right now. You see in the room,
And then when Phantom flashes on screen,
And now Sylvia, I think we're ready. Thank you so very much.
ready for what, bro? I'm scared. Then here's their little games time. The clerk delivers a gas mask to Gerard to wear. And then when they play an SOS again, and then Gerard does 3 poses on top of the body outline. So bro's in a coffin pose, alright. Then during sleep, the robot voice says the same Phantom acronym again. After that, during Teenagers, Gerard gives Mikey the gentleman to hug, and then he hugs Mikey himself. And then also during Teenagers, Gerard and the clerk do some line kicking. In general, the clerk's done a lot of dancing and encouraging the crowd to clap and stuff during Teenagers, but this is a particular funny moment. Beautiful. Then during Famous Last Words, there's some fireworks, and they go absolutely insane. Like, dang, like, why are they going horizontal? That is intense. And then as the end is reprised, there's a changing of the jacket ceremony. So that was really tiny, but Sylvia just took off Gerard's silver jacket, and now he receives the gold one. No, bro, this is killing me. He graduated MOAT school. But so, I mean, this just solidifies the prequel theory, clearly. He's gone from being resurrected and brainwashed, and now he's ready to go perform the shows that we saw last year. Yeah, man, I was not prepared for this. And he's so happy to see the dictator, dude. Then, of course, we've got to close out with blood, and Gerard stabs the clerk wearing his fancy new gold uniform. Well, so the clerk fakes out Gerard a little bit and then chokes him back, and then they collapse as they do at every single show. And, well, that basically concludes the Latin American leg of MCR's 2026 tour. So here's their silly moment. And, well, thank you for listening to all of my research so far. And I'm very excited to see MCR come back in about 3 months. So that will be fun. And in the meantime, I can finally get some things done again. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.